Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Reality Files. I was just editing up the video you were about to watch, and I realized it needs to be two parts. One, the mortal life, the mortal, and the plague of humanity. The second part is a very important part, and it's empowering. So if the first part is old hat to you, make sure you get there. Second part is the immortal way. This is the way to Ascension. And this is how to disconnect from your current experience. Hope you enjoy. Welcome, Quasitor Veritas, seeker of truth. Today, this morning, this beautiful morning, we get to talk about the plague that is infecting everyone you know. It is the worst plague of humanity, and no, it is not parasites. In fact, it's not a plague of the body, it is the plague of the mind. You see, growing up, I had my eyes open. And I saw a lot of parents getting angry with their kids. My mom would get frustrated with me all the time. They still do. They would lose it, yell, scream. My dad is a great man, and he loves his family. But he has the plague too. And he is always stressed out, worrying about the next presentation, the next business meeting. My mom gets stressed about your car's not clean, or there's this huge mess, and they're yelling at me. All my friends and my brothers, stressing to the point of almost tears over homework, grades, friends, an actor for a big play. Weeks before they start worrying, getting anxious. In classrooms at school, people won't even stand up, raise their hand, or speak out with their opinion because they're so scared of what people think about them. Don't even wear the clothes they want to wear or listen to the music they want to listen to. And they're always constantly cycling worrying thoughts, negative thoughts about social drama, politics, family issues, personal issues. They're not good enough. They need to get these grades. They have these deadlines. These people they need to impress. They have to make sure they get on this person's good side for networking. Right? The list goes on and on and on. The only thing I don't get is if they just stopped for 2 seconds and took a deep breath, they would realize that they could have gotten the same exact results without even thinking about it beforehand. In fact, they probably would have got better results if they stopped and looked at their life from a zoomed out picture for 1 second, which is seemingly impossible for the rest of humanity. They would realize the rat race they're running. They will worry They will fight with the people they love. They will stress over meaningless shit that never turns out to be anything. They will let their mind build these fake worlds of worry. Thinking of all these possibilities, right? The worry wart. Thinking of all these different things, all these bad things that could happen. Yet none of them turn out to be true. And if they do turn out to be true, it's because they created it with their own mind. Okay? People are in this rat race, and if you're watching this channel, you can probably see this. Okay? And it's because everyone is living a mortal life. They are mortal. All they have is right now. That's what they think about. Instant gratification, avoiding pain, and suppressing anything that doesn't feel good, and constantly worrying about their next performance because this life is all they have. They are mortal. And their mind is their enemy. Your mind can be your sanctuary. It can be your laboratory. It can be your canvas in heaven. Or it can literally be your worst goddamn enemy. And I know this very well. My mind is my biggest challenge and my greatest ally. Like in most stories, the hero archetype. Their greatest strength is always their greatest weakness. That is my mind, and I know the mind very well. And I can see how easy it is to catch the disease. And I'm going to go into that to start with. It is masterful what they have done. It's very simple, but it's masterful. It has ensnared the masses. And I kind of boil it down to one big breaking point. Heliocentric model versus geocentric model. Guys like Isaac Newton, Darwin, Copernicus, right? They contributed all these theories to this field of scientism, this new religion, right? And these theories became the base for how we see the world and extrapolate off of that. So we build this expansive field, this area of knowledge, fake knowledge, science. It's based on 100% false theories of gravity, heliocentric model, and evolution. And then we have guys like Bill Nye the Science Guy, right? Who else is there? What's his name? I don't know. Like Machio Kaku or something like this. I don't even know these guys. I don't pay attention to them. I actually don't even have a single idol or watch anything in that area. So I do not want to get trapped. But we have these figures that everyone worships and bows down to. These intellectual saints, right? Preaching bullshit. And then we go to school. and we get indoctrinated in these systems. But what do these systems of thought do? The whole thing is set up and designed to make you feel small, make you feel separated and competitive, and make you feel insignificant. By saying you're on this planet spinning at 800 some degree miles per hour, blasting around the sun at 5,000 and around the galaxy at 500,000 and through the universe at 1,000,000 miles an hour amongst trillions of other galaxies and stars with, it's completely ludicrous. Complete ludicrous. But if you believe that and you subscribe to scientism and this indoctrination, this brainwashing, the mind control, all you're going to care about is this lifetime. No matter what. It doesn't matter how good your morals and beliefs are, right? My dad, he wants to do the right thing. He always wants to do the right thing. But he thinks this is all he has, right? So he works so hard and stresses so much. And every opportunity to go deeper, if it means that his life has a more superficial meaning, you have a better resume, your life looks better on the outside to other people, you have more money and more stuff, right? Going after all these things sucks you into the matrix. It sucks you in because it steals your time. You have to make commitments. People are going to rely on you to give your best performance and give your time, right? So, on top of this, so that's the big area of control on this plane. The other ones are very obvious, is this toxic cesspool they create within inside the human body. GMOs, chemtrails, fluoride, EMF, electromagnetic attacks, HARP, right? Meat. It's so funny. So, you're in this cesspool of toxicity where you cannot think straight and you're always tired. And you have parasites that are growing inside of you, controlling what you want. You have this society that glorifies false stars, these celebrities that are just chosen by the Illuminati. You have a society that idolizes and puts on a pedestal sophistication and intelligence, but their intelligence and sophistication is, number one, sophistication and refined behavior is complete BS. No one actually likes speaking that way or acting that way, conforming to society's wants for them, right? They've never even thought about who they actually are. All this shit. And then the indoctrination system from day one. School. So you have your parents yelling at you, right? You're a 12-year-old kid. You're a 12-year-old kid, and you've been through so much goddamn trauma in your life so far. So much trauma. From the age of 6, you've been in school doing mindless tasks. Mindless tasks. Like the busy work that an accountant does from the age of 6, locked inside of a building for 8 hours and given drugs if you can't sit down. It's ludicrous, right? And in these systems of indoctrination where they're teaching you false information through rote memory that turns you off to learning eternally. My friends right now, like my old friends, they would not pick up a book if they had free time. Hell, even thinking is associated with learning in school. They don't like to think. That takes energy, right? They are creating a population that will only do what they're told and never more than that, because all they want to go do is instant gratification and just like zone out because they're in this cesspool of toxicity. They have all of these emotional traumas that have been suppressed, and they've never learned about their emotions, right? Like, if school, I have a million ways to improve the education system. It's literally built on the worst principles you could possibly build it on. Like, we have a supercomputer in our pocket. Why the fuck? Like, high school is unneeded. 100. Ask someone a year after high school something they learned. High school is not needed. All that shit they teach you in high school, you can Google. Why are they teaching information? Like, no. They gotta be. The only thing that really matters, if they really were preparing you to go into the workforce, where you're gonna be competing with on a global scale and with AI. Like, all these people in college right now going to get degrees in certain subjects, they're fucked. They're fucked. They don't even see it, right? The only thing, like 10 years from now, if this system continues how it is without collapsing, the only valuable skill you could possibly have is the ability to solve problems creatively and think outside the box. Well, they don't teach that in school. They also don't teach emotional intelligence in school, which makes a lot more sense. In a world where you are going to go, like, your inner world and how you can relate to people is it's going to make or break you in tough times, right? So we have all these kids with no emotional intelligence. They've never gone into their inner world because their whole lives they have been thrown into a consumerist society that is hyper competitive, and forced to do mindless activities since the age of 6 years old, locked inside of a building. And their parents are telling them that if you don't get good grades and you don't go to a good college, you're not going to be successful. And both their parents and the children both believe, they might go to church and shit, right? But they both, deep down, both think that this is all they have. So these kids, like, I gotta rant a little bit about students. Just because it's completely that phase of my life. It's kind of burned into my memory, but high school, for instance. Locking all of these all these kids with hormones just raging, right? in a hyper-competitive environment in high school, with college right around the corner, which is apparently going to make or break your life, and college admission rates at like 10%. So you need to do better. Like, your resume has to be insane. I know this very well. I went to Columbia. I wasted a lot of time. I'm the Leo, right? I wanted to be the best. And I was. I got valedictorian. The last year of doing that was literally hell. And it's really what made me drop out of, like, I'm not doing that ever again. I will not be in that system ever again. All those kids, girls in high school are so goddamn depressed because they're so damn alone. They can't talk to anybody. All those social dramas, right? That's what they feed on. They don't have any real friends. It's all fake friends. A couple months it switches. Their parents are always screaming at them, and they have 10 times the amount of shit on their plate than they can even do. Right? So many responsibilities. You have 3 hours of sports after 7 hours of school. And then you have 2 hours of homework. And you have parents that demand a lot. Yourself demands a lot. And then the whole time, and this is the ages from 12 to 18, just looking at high school. The whole time you're being told how important what you're doing is right now, because if you don't get a good start in life, you're going nowhere. This is what ruins the mind. They're already lost. 95% of the kids graduating from high school are already lost, and they were lost a long time ago. Now let's go to college. What happens there? Well, I went to the best university in the world. And when I got there, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Every single person I met, every one of them, were literally, they had no idea who they were. Like, let me just put this in perspective really quick here. 50% of the kids coming into the college had hover parents directing their super external life, like just directing everything they did, hovering over them. And those kids also had super high expectations of themselves. And all they sought was approval. They wanted approval from their teachers, approval from their parents, and they wanted to get into this Ivy League school, this sophisticated school, right? So their lives are set. So we get here. And these kids finally get freedom. Everyone finally gets freedom. For the first time, they taste the freedom. And then drugs and alcohol are thrown into the mix with a whole bunch of teenagers that have the spiritual maturity of a half-year-old, all thrown together in one pool. And they get so much more lost. They're trying on all new faces, right? Because they're meeting new people and they just want to be liked. They just want to be liked. I see it in every single person I talk to. They just wanted to be liked as so badly. Or they wanted to fit in or find a group. if they were an alpha, they wanted to establish their territory, get a following. Their lives were consumed by social dramas, like every single one of them, just consumed. And the problem is, all those social dramas are developed, they have to be someone they're not. You don't, you don't find yourself by seeing what's gonna do best for you, It's only gonna lead to hell. It's gonna lead to hell. So all these kids are thrown in here with zero emotional intelligence, zero idea of who they are, a complete false reality of what the universe is. They have no idea that all their jobs that they're being trained for are going to be gone. And to make matters worse, college is the same thing as high school, but double the expectations. So now we are super stressed. We're first experiencing drugs and alcohol. And living on our own. And trying to meet new friends. It doesn't work. Yeah, by the end of it, they are beaten down. They're beaten down. They are lost. They just kind of climbed up into a little cage and shut themselves in. You can see it with any college graduate. Yeah, they might look sophisticated and proud on the outside. Got a nice car, right? Working for the man so they can drive a better box to work the next year. Inside, their inner child is curled up in a corner crying. Crying because they don't have anybody. Because they've had to be something they're not their whole lives, and they don't even know who they are. And now they're too entwined into the system to even start thinking about it. Then they get a wife and kids. And now you have major responsibilities, right? Major. You're not getting out. It's over. It's already over. Your whole life is going to be consumed by stress, suffering, and hell. For these mere moments of bliss. Because the more obligations you have to be in this fucked up society, the more obligations and commitments you make, and the further you go in, the harder it is to get out. You see, I went to Columbia for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I was handed my syllabus on that first day. I looked at that shit. And I'm just like, what is going on here? I'm supposed to be at the best school in the world. We're learning complete BS, man. Like this liberal garbage, like books that we have these book talks on, and like people can't even read past the first layer of the book, number one. Number two, the discussion's all based on like proving how eloquent they are. The discussion's all based on superficial stuff because their whole life is based on superficial stuff, and the whole school system is based on the superficial, the fake. It's based on separation, separating all these different subjects, separating knowledge in all these subjects. That's not how you learn. Like, I learn in one day. I do about 8 hours of research a day. I learn more then every single person, okay, I can say this, in one day of 8 hours of research, I learned more than my whole entire high school, every single kid in there, learned in a year. I learned that every day. Think about my mind compared to theirs. Through meditation and introspection, and having a right base for reality, like